study class will come up, and when we get to arthropods, then the order will come up. You have to learn the class, order, of course, genus, species. These are, here is it, let's look at it. I underline it. I underline it means what? Genus. And then if the first word, this is the second word is not capitalized. What is that word? Gandhi. Species. The first phylum is phylum Euglenozoa. Okay, if you watch old videos of YouTube, it could be they do have a different classification. I have to go by this classification, the most recent edition of your textbook. So phylum, class Euglenozoa. Again, don't worry about class. Some species with light-sensitive stigma. So that would be right. These are chloroplasts. They didn't. I'm just going to pick right here. That would be stigma, for example. So they're light-sensitive. And why do you think they are light-sensitive? No, they use their chloroplast right here. They use their chloroplast to do photosynthesis. We do have slide of euglena in the lab, and we do have slide of cyst of euglena. So when the conditions of the environment is horrible for euglena in a pond, they go on the encystment. Okay, I hope I'm making some sense. When the conditions are favorable, they go on their binary fission. Binary fission. And then, class Trypanosoma Brucei, they're all parasitic. This is a different class than class Euglena. And we have 2 slides in the lab, Leishmania and Trypanosoma. But let's talk about Euglena first before I go on and talk about Trypanosoma. Euglena, here they are. Some structures in Euglena, pellicle. Pellicle is a structure that stores, the very outer membrane. It doesn't have it in here. It doesn't have cell membrane. The very outer membrane of Euglena, it's made up of protein and other structures. It's different than cell membrane a little bit. That's what they call it, pellicle. And then kinetosome is a DNA material. They may label it in here or not. It's a DNA material that is, we still do not know the function of it, but they're saying maybe that helps with flagella. Contractile vacuole, of course, stigma to locate light for photosynthesis. Chloroplast, I showed you. And paramylon bodies, they are deposits of carbohydrates. So they make glucose. Photosynthesis, you remember that, they store them inside of the cell as paramylon bodies. We store them as glycogen. Okay? And then reproduction by binary fission, which I talked about that. Again, this model, I just brought it, I'll probably put it back. It has, the old days they used to say they have one flagellum, but nowadays they say they have 2, one big one and one small one. They used electron microscopy, they came up with a second one. So I don't know, maybe next edition of your text will say, oh, that was a mistake. It's just one flagellum. I don't know. So, but, Yeah. So the eye spot here, he's calling it eye spot. I said it in my notes, stigma. Okay, same thing. But anyhow. Okay, is there any other question about Euglena? We have in the lab, we have them, look at them. One thing about the Euglena, you confuse them during the exam with Paramecium. They look like Paramecium, but they're much smaller than Paramecium. In these models, they're out of wacko. For example, this would be on the 40x on your microscopes. See, they're almost same size, almost. This is on the 40 high power. This would be on the scanning power. Right, so make sure you look at them and you can tell them apart on the microscope in the lab. The next, good. Class Trypanosoma. Trypanosoma Brucei rodensiense cause death. Among these 3 Trypanosoma Brucei rodensiense, it's a subspecies. Remember, these are all genus, species, subspecies. So the subspecies rhodensiense, it will kill people in Africa. And then Trypanosoma Brucei gambiense, it causes harm and the person will die eventually later on. They can have a few more years. And then Trypanosoma brucei is the one that is found in animals. So the ones in animals and the ones in human are different a little bit. Trypanosoma is transmitted by tsetse fly, Glossina. The name of the common name is tsetse fly, and then the name of the genus is Glossina. And when we get to arthropods, we do have the Glossina for you guys to look at it on the microscope. For this exam, no. Okay, for this exam, you will see the Trypanosoma on the microscope. The other one, which we do not have in the lab, is Trypanosoma Brucei. Trypanosoma Brucei is found in South Central America and maybe southern states of United States. Okay, a few cases each year is reported from southern states of the United States. So this causes sleeping sickness, these three. What happens, what they call it sleeping sickness, because if you watch some videos, people walk in the street and all of a sudden they go in the corner of somewhere and they take a nap. Actually, their nervous system is shutting down. They're not taking a nap. And that's what they call it sleeping sickness. And they get up and they move on with their lives, okay? Because they have this parasite. What happens in South and Central America, which is Trypanosoma Brucei, because the name of the disease is Chagas disease, it causes heart problem, maybe some mental problems, but it's mainly a heart problem. They affect the heart. The Trypanosoma Brucei affects the central nervous system. Okay, I hope I'm making some sense and the differences between the two. In the lab, you don't have to tell them apart. You look at them on a microscope, what happens on the in the slide, the Trypanosoma Brucei, if later on in your life, you take parasitology later on in your life, Trypanosoma Brucei is more C-shaped, but Trypanosoma Brucei is more straight. And the ones we have in the lab is Trypanosoma Brucei. And you cannot tell apart. It's a rhodensiense or gambiense or Brucei. Okay, but in the lab we have Trypanosoma Brucei. So, Trypanosoma Brucei, name of the disease, Chagas disease, and transmitted by kissing bug, and Tritominiae, that's the name of the organism, kissing bug. Why they call it kissing bug? Because this arthropod, if you would, it will usually come around the mouth, and it sits around the mouth. That's what they call it, kissing bug. That's what their nickname is. Just like this one, the common name is tsetse fly. This one is kissing bug. Leishmania affects liver. The next organisms in this group, in this class, is Leishmania, which affects liver and spleen. Visceral leishmaniasis. This is your visceral portion of your body, and you will see some pictures here. So it affects your visceral portion of your body. It's called visceral leishmaniasis. And then we have two other, I think I stayed away from cutaneous leishmaniasis, and we have subcutaneous, but this is cutaneous leishmaniasis, which affects skin. And then transmitted by sandfly. Leishmania is transmitted by sandfly. Here is a person after doing autopsy. You can see the spleen is huge, and of course liver is a little bit enlarged too on the top. But there's a whole bunch of accumulation of blood, and this person died of leishmaniasis. This is the leishmaniasis. And sometimes you see pictures like this, that you're wondering how come these people are very skinny, they don't have much to eat, but why their belly is huge. That belly is full of liver. Liver becomes enlarged because of the leishmania that I talked about. Okay, and leishmania, you will see at the end, it can be found in Africa, it can be found in Asia, portion of Asia, and then of course there is cutaneous leishmaniasis, which I have a picture of that. So that's visceral leishmaniasis. That's a picture of visceral leishmaniasis. So that belly right here is pretty much either liver or spleen. They call it hepatomegaly. It means enlargement of liver. And then here is a cutaneous leishmaniasis. If you're wondering about the fate of this person, by medication and some plastic surgery, he went back to normal. So his face was back to normal. But that's a severe, very severe case of cutaneous leishmaniasis. There is another type of leishmaniasis, which I'm not talking about. I'm not showing you any picture. Your text will stay away from it. The next phylum is phylum Amoebozoa. Amoeba, you do have 5 of them in the lab. So here is how I put this model, what phylum, and you write down amoeba. Will you get credit if you write down amoeba? I ask what phylum, and you write down amoeba. Will you get credit for it? No, I want Amoebozoa. Okay, am I straight? I know I'm straight. Okay. Do I make sense? Amoebas, we have Entamoeba histolytica. Entamoeba histolytica, it causes amoebic, they call it amoebic dysentery. Amoebic dysentery is when a person have diarrhea plus blood. That's what amoebic dysentery means. It means the person have, dysentery can be caused by different things. But one of the things that cause dysentery is called amoebic dysentery, is by this organism. After medication in the United States, this is not much of a problem. The person have diarrhea with blood, they take him to the hospital, they put him on IV, they put him on medication, the person goes home fine. Other countries, this will kill, especially young children. It will kill, it claims a lot of lives. And maybe I have a chart that shows how many lives a year this organism claims. Entamoeba coli, as I said, is a commensal, hard to diagnose, distinguish between Entamoeba coli and Entamoeba histolytica. So some people who have colitis, I don't know if you've heard of that disease or not, but you go to a doctor, the doctor says maybe it's Entamoeba coli, and again, it's hard to get rid of Entamoeba coli, and it's hard to distinguish as well, maybe by some lab techniques, PCR, and other techniques. Again, where do you find these organisms? If you go to a doctor, they look for these things. Where do they find them?
Intestines.
Easier than that. In the feces. Yeah, in the stool. You find it in the stool. They don't have to go to the body and look for it. Am I making some sense? A little bit? So these can be fun. Entamoeba gingivalis is opportunistic protozoa. 50% of your textbook or the parasitology book I have, it does not classify it as either a commensal or a parasite or a mutualism. It says it is a opportunistic protozoa. It is found in your mouth, and the way we transmit it is by kissing. That's another joke for kissing. When you kiss somebody, it's a tube half full of, you say the rest. I said it once, that's enough. So that's how it's being communicated between people and what happens if the person does not keep a good hygiene, they do not brush teeth, they do not floss. This organism can cause gingivitis, inflammation of your gums. That's what gingivitis, that's got the name. Okay. Entamoeba gingivalis, but it causes gingivitis, which is inflammation of the gums. We do not have that slide in the lab. We do not have any of these guys in the lab, this slides. Entamoeba histolytica, Entamoeba coli, and Entamoeba gingivalis. Phylum, okay, different phylum. We do have slide of 4 aminophorans and radiolarians in the lab. So, and I'll show you a picture here in a minute. Phylum 4 aminophoran, they're like clams. They're like snails. These organisms, one-cell organisms, they have a shell, and we call it a test, T-E-S-T. In the slides in the lab, you might see test of 4 aminophorans. Okay, and then we have test amoeba made up of calcium carbonate, silica or silk, and then phylum radiolarians and helizoans made up of silicon. We do not have helizoans. We have radiolarians and 4 aminophorans in the lab. Again, you should be able to distinguish them. Phylum Dinoflagellates, it's a serratium. We do have that slide. I put it on the bottom. I do not have much to say about dinoflagellates, but it's a serration which we do have that slide in the lab. Quickly, here is your amoebozoa. Here is the radiolarians. Here, these are halozoans, but that would be right here. What is it? Oh, there is another one I would like you to know. We do not have it in the lab. You get it from contact lenses if you use somebody else's stuff when you have new contacts and your old contacts. It is, the name of the organism is Acanthamoeba castellani, but don't worry about Nuclearia faroi. I will talk about Nuclearia faroi later on. But this is an Acanthamoeba. Here we go. This is Acanthamoeba, contact lenses, showers, contaminated water, not human to human, but this organism's Acanthamoeba is supposed to be free living. And then what happens if this free living amoeba get into eye of people, and it can go all the way from bothering people to blindness. It can cause, eventually it can cause blindness in some people. But I will talk about Nuclearia faroi. Amoeba infection like Nuclearia faroi, it means they're free living organisms. They're supposed to be free living, but if they come in contact with us, Acanthamoeba is specific for the eye. So if it gets into the eye, it causes cause. And I will talk about Nuclearia faroi in more detail. But Nuclearia faroi in the eye, not that I know of. Again, you might go and find a paper from Google and say, oh, I mean, look, Nuclearia faroi is found in the eye too, but not in this class. If you bring it to me, I'll take it. But I'm just saying these two organisms are free living. And when they come in contact with us, they cause a lot of damage. That's all I'm trying to say. And this is a picture of Acanthamoeba. Here we go. Next phylum is phylum Heterolobicea. And then Acanthamoeba belongs to what phylum? Amoebozoa, right? I am talking about Amoebozoa. So Acanthamoeba is phylum Amoebozoa. The next phylum is phylum Heterolobicea, which is Nuclearia faroi. Again, this is a free living organism. God forbid, if we come across it, Houston, we really got it. We don't have more than 1 week to rectify the problem. That's what happens. When people come across this parasite, well, free living organism, how about that? When they come across this free living organism, they only have 1 week to survive. Okay, so let's go over it. Naked amoebas with eruptive pseudopodia that forms abruptly, and then sometimes called amoeboflagellates or schizopyridiae, since the life cycle includes both amoeba and flagellated organism. I'll show you a picture. Primary, the name of the disease this organism caused, that's a lab practical exam question, sometimes a lecture question, is called primary amoebic meningeal encephalitis, PAM. You write down PAM for me during the exam, I will not give you credit. PAM, PAM. You have to spell out the whole entire disease for me, like dysentery, amoebic dysentery, you remember that? So this one is called primary amoebic meningeal encephalitis. It's caused by an amoeba. Well, it changes from amoeba. Flagellate and amoebotrophozoites. Trophozoite, it means feeding stage. That's the term trophozoites means. It means it's a feeding stage of organism. Binary fission is amoeboform, transmitted by amoeboid form, and death within 5 to 7 days. And usually what happens, the doctors do not recognize this. And then when they do when they do autopsy on the patient, they find it in autopsy. You all know what autopsy is. Autopsy means the person is dead. You, human, go open up and find out what the problem is. Necropsy is animal is dead, and you, human, go open it up. And biopsy means the person is alive, the doctor is alive, they open up a person who is alive, and they take a tissue piece from wherever, from wherever, and that's called biopsy. Okay, but autopsy means the person is there. So that's what happens. Usually it's found in autopsy. Intravenous, these are the drugs, these are the two antibiotic they give to the patients, and the patients will recover. If they discover it early on, if they discover it before the 7th day or 5th day. Okay, here it is when you go swimming in a dirty pond or lake. This has been reported from, this organism has been reported from baptism, from bathtub of people, kitchens of people. It has been reported, has been found, and that's pretty much the life cycle of it. And then whenever, even swimming pool, chlorine is supposed to kill this, but some cases, people came up going to the swimming pool and they got, I hope I'm not scaring you not to go swimming or not to go into a body of water, lake, pond, river, and swim. But what happens, usually this appears during the very, very hot days. Okay, very hot days when the after rain comes and forms a puddle of water. Here they are, they're destroying the brain cells. These are the amoeba cells. They are right here enjoying having a party in Arkansas. And there you see some signs of amoebic meningitis. Stay out of this river or lake. Please do not go into the water. Here, this is what we have in the lab. Okay, on 2x2 slides. And then I will put it in our practical exam. And then you will see, I'll ask you, what is the name of the disease, what is the name of the organism, what phylum. How to get Nuclearia fluoride ponds and lakes, water in the nasal passage, clean water, immersion in bath water, playing in warm muddy pool after rain, placing head into water of a school backyard in some baptism, full immersion of it. Is there any question on nuclearia fluoride? I hope I'm not scared. Welcome to the field of, I guess, biology, medicine, whatever you want. There are goods and bads. You're learning the bad stuff. Phylum, Viridoplantae. Viridoplantae have unicellular, clonial, and multicellular green algae that used to be in phylum Chlorophyta, used to be in Chlorophyta. We do not have phylum Chlorophyta anymore. This group also includes vascular and non-vascular plants. Clade Plantae, which again, it's crazy the way they're doing the classification nowadays. As Chlamydomonas is one of those protista that I talked about, and they're as a single cell organism, Chlamydomonas, but they're putting it in clade Plantae, but in phylum Viridoplantae. Volvox, same thing. You're studying. Volvox is in phylum Viridoplantae. We'll talk about clade and all of that a little bit later on, guys. Next semester. Here's the life cycle of Volvox, if you would. So what happens? Volvox have cell wall division of labor. What I mean by division of labor, these cells, you see the small dots, they're called vegetative cells. Vegetative cells are responsible for photosynthesis. And then they have sperm and egg, right here sperm and egg and sperm and egg fertilize each other. And they have a zygote, and inside that zygote is one cell, becomes 2 cells, 4 cells, and they form a colony inside of the mother colony. And then that colony can get out right here. It can get out, and then another colony is formed without sexual reproduction inside of that colony. And then that colony, again, this is the asexual cycle of Volvox, also has a sexual cycle as well. Sperm and egg make zygote, and then the zygote inside of the colony can become, mother colony can become 4 cells, 8 cells. So that's pretty much, what did I write down here? Macrogametes and microgametes, yeah, I mentioned those. Macrogametes is pretty much the egg or loaded with food. Microgametes sperm, and then find the ovum, zygote small. That's pretty much what I mean by division of labor. Division of labor, it means you have some cells that are for photosynthesis to make food, and you have some cells to reproduce sexually. Okay, and then reproduction of volvox, microgametes, zygotes multiply and break over. That was phylum Viridoplantium. The next
volvox, under the microscope, the little tiny ones are really going to be spheroids, is what they are, they're not a volvox colony.
Okay, I looked at your slides this morning. You have, which one, the prepared slides or the one you're doing the experiment on? Experiment. I saw this morning you do have this mother colony, and then you have the daughter colonies. Some of them, they have daughter colonies. It's possible that some of them do not have a daughter colony yet. They might have it in the next few days or seconds. Okay, so these are called daughter colonies. On your slides, most of your slides, I see you have both mother colony and daughter colony. And then, what do you think? The common exam questions: how do volvox move by? Do they have cilia or flagella or pseudopod? Multiple choice. Yes, they have flagella. 2 flagella. Okay. Why flagellates? In each cell. I hope I'm making some sense. Each cell. And when you look at it under the microscope, you might say, it's ciliated. No, it's not. It's not ciliated. This is flagellated organism. Flagellated organism. Common exam question. Okay. Phylum Diplomonada, mitochondria lacking. Right? And then a lack mitochondria but have mitochondrial genes in the cell nucleus. Giardia lamblia and Giardia intestinalis. We do have slide of Giardia in the lab. Okay, both on 2x2s and on glass microscopic slides in the lab. We have Giardia. Yes, Will.
Could you upload this PowerPoint into the slides? Because some of our slides are a little different.
Yeah,
We're missing a bunch.
Yeah, the slides are completely different. They're not the same.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Come look at it.
They're making it up. I think they're making it up. They're making it up to make me look bad on YouTube. Nobody watches. The good thing is nobody watches this in the US. I'm lucky. I can say anything I want.
Don't tempt it.
Don't tempt it. Giardia intestinalis and Giardia lamblia. Okay, yes, I will. Right here, let's do it quickly. What happens, you guys? The life cycle of Giardia is kind of interesting and something we need to work on and know. The life cycle is direct. It means from human to human by feces. Okay, that's what direct means. It doesn't have to go through a fly or a mosquito or something else. Those type of life cycle is called direct life cycle. So right here is Giardia lamblia, flagellated, trophozoites, it means feeding stage, enlarge intestine, multiply asexually by binary fission. All of these terminologies you're familiar with. Okay, do not worry about the size of the organism. And then this is the adult organism, the trophozoite stage, feeding stage. And then they have 2 nuclei, few flagella, look like a pear. You look at textbooks, it's a pear shape. And then what happens, diagnostic and infective stage, resistant infective cyst. They form a cyst when they are ready to be defecated out. They cause diarrhea. Giardia cause diarrhea. Okay, diarrhea. I didn't say cause dysentery. I said diarrhea. Okay, so when they are coming out of their host, they form a cyst look like this, which you do have this on 2x2 slides. Okay, you do not have it on microscopic. I can find it on microscopic slides, but I will not hold you responsible for. Okay, they're awful small. They're 10 micrometer. So they have 4 nuclei in there. They form a cyst, and that cyst can stay in the environment, in a moist environment, or maybe sometimes a fomite. Right? This is a fomite. This is a fomite. How many times have I put my glasses in my mouth? Many times. And if there are a few cysts in there, I ingest it and I become infected. That's what this methods of infection. Man ingests the infective cyst transmitted by feces, accidental. I mean, nobody go, I don't know, go grab somebody else's feces and eat it. I'm saying accidental fecal infection, fingers, right? So, I don't know, somebody do something and they put it in their mouth. That's horrible. But food, fomites, and flies. So that's why we do not like flies. Flies themselves, you guys, they do not transmit any disease. But they sit on a poop, they can transmit anything. Virus and sit on poop of somebody and then fly and sit on food of somebody else and let somebody else eat the food right here. They get Giardia, they get the virus, they get the bacteria. That's why we do not like flies, because they're abundant, number one, and they do transmit diseases, just attachment of the eggs or cysts on the legs. Okay, that's a criteria. So I gave you the term fomites. Is that right? Somewhere in here is fomites. Cyst passes small intestine, and then when this gets ingested by human inside of our gut, they go under excision. The cyst, one of these guys become one of that guys. Am I making some sense, everybody?
Yeah.
But those guys in the intestine are multiplying and more by binary fission, multiplying. When this gets into the environment, they do not multiply anymore. They are a cyst. Am I making some sense? And of course, desiccation, dryness, and everything else, heat will destroy these. While I'm here, I gotta tell you an important concept in biology, of course, epidemiology in diseases. This is the only organism I know. I don't know any other organ. Don't ask me, Amir. I don't know. Just this one. They've done research that most of diseases like this. If a person ingests less than 100, roughly 100 of these, less, they do not come up with diarrhea. Our immune system, whatever it is, fights them off, kill them off. But if a person ingests more than 100 of these, based on the scientific study they've done, the person comes up with diarrhea. I hope I'm making, is everyone listening to that? That is true for all of diseases. When you touch the doorknob and you go outside and you put in your finger, you probably catch some of the cold virus. It's a season coming up for cold virus. You put it in your mouth. If you ingest, let's say, I don't know that number. If you ingest 100 cold virus or less, you will not catch a cold. You ingest more than 100, you catch a cold. I hope I'm making some sense. That is that concept, the concept I'm giving you, that is true for all diseases. Okay? I hope it's true for HIV, true for Ebola virus, true for everything. It depends how many you ingest. And every species is different. Every species, every organism that causes disease is different. The number is different. But in case of Giardia, I happened to come across a paper where the magic number was 100. Okay, is everybody following what I'm talking about? I hope I'm making some sense. And there are many, many cases. Giardia in the United States, quickly, I mentioned this. We are not, I say to everybody, our gut in the United States is pretty much sterile. We do not have anything in it. I think somebody might argue with me, say, oh no, we have all sorts of diseases in our gut. Gut of other people on planet Earth, except Western Hemisphere, some of the countries in the western portion of the Earth, is full of parasites. Not full, but they have Giardia, and it does not bother. That's why they say when you go south of the border, don't drink the water, drink beer instead. Maybe they want you to get drunk south of the border. Because the water there has Giardia. When you go up in the mountain, do not drink the water from streams, because it has Giardia. But other people, in their own country, they drink water, have no problem, because the body got immune to it. They have immunity. But anyway, that's true about a lot of parasites that we'll talk about here. Parabasalia. Large Golgi bodies, unlike the last phylum. This phylum, Dipromonada, do not have any Golgis, but these guys have large Golgi bodies. And then Trichomonas vaginalis is the only protozoa that we are studying that cause it's an STD, sexually transmitted disease, easy to treat, but it causes foul smell, discharge. Those are not bleeding discharge, and then it's transmitted by sexual contact. Okay, that's the only one we are studying. I do not consider Entamoeba gingivalis as sexual contact. Is that right? Somebody say, oh, we have Entamoeba gingivalis. Yeah, that is transmitted by kissing, but it's not exact sexual contact. But anyhow, Trichomonas vaginalis, in case of men, the signs and symptoms, less men are infected with it than women. Okay, for the obvious reasons, because of the urethra is longer and so on and so forth. But anyhow, then you have Dientamoeba. We do not have slide of it. Trichonympha is the mutualism. Is the slide of, we have it in the lab. Trichonympha. The trichonympha is found in the gut of termite. So this and termite have a mutualistic relationship. It breaks down, this guy breaks down the wood to single glucose molecules. So the termite benefit from that glucose molecule, cellular respiration. You study that in biology 1. And then of course, Trichonympha enjoys the single sugar glucose molecule. Flagellated protozoan that cause African sleeping sickness. And right here, and this is Trichonympha. Yes. This Trichonympha, no, I'm sorry, not Trichonympha, this is Trichomonas vaginalis. Because the name of the disease is trichomoniasis. The name of the disease for Giardia is giardiasis. Of course. That's the name of disease for Giardia. But what are the signs and symptoms for Giardia? Diarrhea. What are the signs and symptoms for trichomoniasis? Is vaginal discharge, foul smell. Those are the signs and symptoms. Trypanosomiasis is the name of the disease, or African sleeping sickness, or sleeping sickness, or Chagas disease. This